Hi, welcome to my channel. It's a cooking channel, and I'm new at this, so today I'm going to try to get my hand on making one of these YouTube videos. And so the first thing we're going to do now is to see why and how I start getting inspired for cooking, because this is an everyday situation where you have to get ideas and think like, oh man, I need to cook something. What do the kids want to eat? What does my wife want to eat? So I no longer ask, because everybody says I don't know. So what I'm going to do now is show you how I solve this problem. So we're going to hit the supermarket, and you'll be watching the rest of the movie from there on. We're living here in Olhão, Portugal, and this is far south of Europe. And we've got amazing seafood around here, great fish, also great vegetables, and great weather. So I'm here at the butcher's, and I found aged ground chuck, and this is great for making what I want to prepare for lunch. So I'm going to buy 2 of these, and we'll see what comes out of this. Red juicy tomatoes. They're making beautiful parsley. Be buying quite a lot of it to make a lovely dish. Alright, I'll be using this in a salad, and I'll be using this in the meat. It's lovely. And it smells really nice. I love the smell of parsley. I'm going to be making tabbouleh for lunch, and we use for this cracked wheat. Here you can see it's dried cracked wheat, and I've soaked it in water now for about 10 minutes so that they get a little tender, and now I'm going to dry them. The soaked wheat, which I'm going now to pass through a sieve, remove the excess water, and then I will squeeze it by hand, removing all remaining water from the dried cracked wheat. So as you can see, it still has quite a bit of water. You wait a little bit so it stops dripping. Okay, I'll reach more or less to this point. What I will do now is I will hold it with my hand, as you see, and I squeeze it, and I let the water come out. So you get sort of a dry paste, and then put it in a bowl on the side. You don't want it to be, you don't have to squeeze it that hard. Just squeeze the juice out of the dried cracked wheat, and it'll be just perfect for the tabbouleh. After this, I'll be chopping tomatoes and placing the chopped tomatoes, some juicy ones, right on top of the bulgur, which is the cracked wheat, so that the cracked wheat absorbs the flavor from the tomatoes, which gives the bulgur a really special background flavor. Normally people will just do it with water and then mix in the bulgur, the parsley, and the tomato. I don't do that. I learned from my sister to put the tomato on top. Here I've got, for your benefit, to show you on a plate, the bulgur which has been soaked. As you can see, it's quite fluffy, and it increases in size, as a matter of fact. Now I'm going to dice the tomatoes. I'm going to show you how to do it, because it's very important to do it correctly. You want to take the core out by simply going like this on the side of the tomato, and just removing the core. Alright? Some people in Lebanon remove the seeds from the tomato, and others don't. I personally like the seeds, so I'm going to keep them. Alright, dice into small pieces. Very well. I diced them. So now I will put them in the way it's supposed to be. I'm going to put it in a glass bowl. First of all, I take the bulgur, I pass it onto, from the plate into the glass bowl, and now comes the important part, the diced tomato right on top. Sort of let it sit there. Well, now I'm going to chop onions and I'm going to chop the parsley. I'm going to use a red onion. You do not have to use a red onion if you don't want to. You can use scallions as well. You can use white onion. You can Vidalia onion. Any onion will do. I personally today prefer having red onion because I enjoy the flavor of it and I love the color. To dice my onion, and I'm going to dice it quite thin so that when you're biting into it you don't have these big chunks of onions. Some people don't like that. Alright, so what I do is I first cut it across in the size that I want, and then I repeat the same process once I reach the other side. Avoid accidents. As you can see, I place that on top of the tomato, and I repeat the process with another slice. There we go. I'm starting to feel the itch in my eyes with these nice onions. Woo! Alright. Very well. Okay. I'm going to do the parsley now. So, here I've got the parsley already tied up nicely, with stems and everything. My sister is amazingly difficult when it comes to tabbouleh. She will just choose the leaves. She can sit hours plucking them, except I love parsley, so I even love eating the stems. So the stems go into my tabboulehs. So what I do is I reach to the point where the stems aren't so thick anymore, where they're of an agreeable size. I cut across, remove this part, which smells really nice. I love the smell of parsley. And now, you just cut it really thin with a very sharp knife, as you saw me sharpening it. You just want to cut them about, I'd say, 2 millimeters in length. 2 or 3 millimeters, not more than that. And then you bring it once across, and then with a knife you just give it a little nice chop. Not too much, you don't want it to become a paste, otherwise it starts tasting like grass. It's really weird about parsley. If you chop it too much, it tastes like grass. This is like cooking on the back of a camel. But, you know, one has to get used to everything. Alright, there we go. Beautiful smell of chopped parsley. So I'm going to now season the tabbouleh. The first thing I do is I put black pepper. I love black pepper in tabbouleh because it's sort of like some mystery in the flavor. Okay, not too much, just a couple of squeezes. And very important, of course, rock salt. Sprinkle it nicely all over. Okay, good, because it's quite a lot we need. Because the bulgur, as it's wet, it's going to absorb the salt flavor. And there, very important, lemon. So I'm going to squeeze the lemon straight into my hand so no seeds make it through. As you can see. That way. I have water in my mouth from the lemon. So no seeds are going through. It's a natural filter. A chef's hand. Alright, so as you can see, I've collected a bunch of seeds. You see? So another one needs at least one whole lemon. This is a very juicy, beautiful lemon. So now, we all know what this does. We're going to start mixing. Tabbouleh is ready. The way I'm going to serve it, I'm going to get long lettuce, and I'll be putting the long lettuce all in a circle, pointing outwards, and the tabbouleh in the middle. Normally, what you do is you break leaf lettuce leaf, and you use that with your hands to collect the tabbouleh to eat it with your hands. But you of course can eat it with a fork if you like. The long lettuce leaves, place them in the center, clockwise or anti-clockwise. It's however you tick. So there. And these will be used then later on like your spoons or hand wraps, if you want to call them that way. Now I will serve the borgol into the middle. I haven't added any olive oil yet. Here you will see in the center. Okay, the tabbouleh. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. And add a little bit more in the middle. There, that's perfect. See, that looks like a lovely dish. And when I bring it to the table, we add the olive oil on top. That way it doesn't get all soggy. This is to make hummus. So I bought a jar of chickpeas and I rinsed the chickpeas very well out. I even removed some of the floating skins that the chickpeas have. And now I'm going to give them a quick boil, just a quick boil, so that it gives it a little more, it revives them. I will immediately then cool them down and I will start preparing the hummus. While we're waiting for this to boil, I'm just going to quickly skin a garlic and add some rock salt in the pestle here. And I have the rock salt here. Add a bit of rock salt to basically crush the garlic and make a paste. Just give it a sort of a crush, gradual crush. Once the garlic gets all flattened, you can actually then just mush and you grind the garlic with the rock salt and it becomes like sort of a kind of a paste. I can smell the hummus. And now switch off the fire and the hummus is ready. So I rinse the hummus with fresh water, let it sit for about 20 seconds in cool water just to cool them down, because I don't want the hummus to be hot. I don't mind it being lukewarm, but so that by the time it gets served to the table it'll be room temperature. Is how I like my hummus. So right now I'm going to leave that and I'm going to finish the paste. The way to finish it, once you have the salt and the garlic all mushed, you need to take a lemon. You squeeze a bit of lemon inside again through your hands, or you can use a lemon squeezer if you find this too arduous, but I like to do it this way. I'm going to add freshly ground cumin. I do that because I find that the cumin gives it a very nice accompanying flavor to the hummus. Plus apparently it helps digestion. So now I put the chickpeas in here and I will also add the garlic with the salt, lemon and cumin inside. So I'm going to add just a small glass of water. I don't want to add too much water because otherwise it gets too watery. So just a small glass, that'll be fine. And now I'm going to show you how it looks like when we start to blend it. Okay, this means the machine is ready. Start the blender. It's a magical machine, this blender. I'm going to have a little peek. It's going to need a bit more water, and then I will taste it. It might need a bit more salt or lemon. So let's see now. I'll add a little bit more water. Curious to see now what happens. Yeah, it looks pretty creamy to me. I like that. Yeah, it should have a creamy consistency. Very, very, very soft. Taste it now, just to see how the salt and the lemon is. Just perfect. So now I will add tahini. Tahini is basically sesame paste. And you can get it in a lot of the Middle Eastern shops, and you get it even from health food shops. The health food shops tend to be more organic and darker, but it's tahini as well. So let's see, I'm going to add some of this. And tahini gets a bit sort of thick consistency. You got to use a spoon to sort of get it really soft and stir it gradually. It's kind of sticky, and you got to keep on scraping the bottom. It tends to sort of like sediment if you leave it a couple of weeks in your pantry. Anyway, it dissolves after a little bit of patience, and we're going to now add that into the hummus. As you can see, I'm going to pour it out straight in. And tahini tastes wonderful. I love the taste of tahini. Alright, let's try this now. Blend it and see what happens. I'll start slow because I want the tahini first to be mixed in. Otherwise it'll start splattering all over and then you'll get what you want. I think it's ready. It's beautiful. Now comes the moment of truth. These are typical Lebanese bowls, clay bowls, where the hummus usually gets served. These are maybe 30 years old. I inherited them from my dear mother. Alright, I'll start now decorating the hummus. So what you do is you start from the outside and you gradually make a spiral inwards, and always you push the spoon deep to the bottom, and then at the end you kind of like raise it this way up. And you do the same thing to the next one. So you get a nice spiral. Okay. Very good. Sprinkle a bit of paprika, sweet paprika, not hot one, to give it a bit of color. You can also fry pine nuts in butter. And to decorate, I'm going to use some beautiful Portuguese black olives. Got a lovely kick in them. There we go. There. And the other one as well, since we in this house love olives. Very well. One here. As you can see, and now comes the most important part, the olive oil. You make a beautiful, beautiful virgin olive oil. There we go. So here we have it, and here we have the Arabic bread, the real Arabic bread that we're going to use. As you can see, this is the real Arabic bread. We're going to use this to eat the hummus. So here I have some nice ground chuck, which I'm going to use for making the kofta. I minced the ground chuck. I gave it one mincing, and now I'm going to add some spices onto it, and chop some onion, and chop parsley, and I'm going to re-mince it again. So it takes 2 mincings. So I'm going to now, like I said, chop parsley, chop onions, and I'm going to mix it in the minced meat. And then I'm going to mince everything together so it becomes the one homogeneous minced meat with the onions and everything. You don't need to cut the onions very small, just sort of like into 1 centimeter cubes, because the mincemeat machine is anyway going to grind it up together. If you don't have a mincemeat machine, you can use a blender. Well, not a blender, but a food processor. Food processors are also good. I find that you have to know how to use your food processor, otherwise the meat becomes too pasty. But if you're careful, you should be alright. And if you don't want to mince the meat yourself, you can buy it minced or have it minced at your local butcher. That is my advice. Have it minced at your local butcher, and choose the piece of meat that you like. You know, it makes a difference day and night. And that way, you just have to then, when the food processor, put everything together, the parsley, etc. Just make sure you chop it really fine. So it's just basically the food processor is actually mixing more than cutting or chopping. It's important to put a lot of parsley into Middle Eastern kafta, because that is the secret of a kafta. It's lots of parsley. Practically ridiculous amount of parsley. But that makes a difference night and day. So, alright, now I have my bowl ready here, big bowl, where I'm going to put the parsley in. I'll show it to you now, with the onions and everything. Make sure I get everything. Want not, waste not. A good friend of mine used to say that. Now, we sprinkle the salt straight in, and the 7 spices. 7 spices are Lebanese spices called bharat, and they are a mixture of spices. So let's put it now in here, all in, and we put the meat. If you want to have a look, you can see that I have here the seasoning with the salt, and on this side I have the meat. So I'm going to put that all together, and now comes the fun part. This you're going to have to do with your hands. And I'm going to show it to you how that's done. You basically, like a salad, you toss it around at first, and then you start massaging the meat into the parsley and in the onions. And this has to be done beforehand, so that when you're putting it into the mincemeat machine, you're getting equal amounts of already mixed parsley and onion and seasoning. So, this smells really good. Now I'm going to stick this into the mincemeat machine. This machine is fantastic. It doesn't make any noise. You barely hear it. I think we are done here. So I will place it in there. Get a bottle of olive oil. Just a tiny bit, just a little. And then with the hands, you kind of roll it like dough. You fold it over. You fold it over. That way also, all the seasoning gets distributed evenly, even though the mincemeat machine already did quite a bit of that job, but this little extra doesn't hurt. It also it massages the meat a little bit. It lets the meat to get a little softer. Unlike hamburgers where you don't want to mess too much within the kaftas, it doesn't matter. So it becomes like a dough. And this is the consistency you're looking for a good kafta. So we're actually going to test it. What I like to do always after I prepare this is switch on a pan on fire and make a little kafta to see how it comes out, if it needs anything, to taste the salt, etc. Because right now I can do this, even though I'm going to store it after in the refrigerator and use it a little later. So, now comes the moment of truth. I wet my hands with water because it makes it easier to make a little kafta. Consider a kafta a mini burger, about this size, half the size of a normal hamburger there. And then what I do is I like to sort of make him long like this by hand, and then I flatten it a bit more and I squeeze it, and I flatten it again, I squeeze it. Normally the reason why I do this is because in Lebanon you will see the koftas very often served on flat skewers, but I don't have a flat skewer. And so what I do is I simulate it by doing it like this. You see thickness there, and it sticks well to my hand, so it's quite good. You guys are ready. The pan is nice and hot. Okay, I think I'm going to flip it over now, slowly. Look at that beautiful color. The green stands out, it's almost chlorophyll green, and the beautiful roasting on the side. Okay. And this has taken me in the pan easily 25 seconds on each side. So this is a fast process. You can do them in a pan, or you can grill them on the charcoal. It depends what flavor you're looking for. I'm ready to try this to see if the seasoning has been correct. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Texture, meat's fantastic. Now I'm sure that the rest of the koftas are going to come out fine. It's made 4. I'll make one more quickly, and we'll put them on the barbie in about a second. This doesn't take long. Off we go. Gently place them on the rack. You see they're quite stable, they don't fall apart, they're quite solid. And there you go. And I placed these earlier. I showed you how they look once they're roasted. They got these nice markings on them. This one as well, watch. There. They're starting to look really good. I really wish you could smell this. This takes me down to Lebanon, takes me down to Morocco. I mean, I'm in the souk smelling the koftas when I was starving when I was a teenager and I was hitchhiking through Morocco. This is fantastic. Okay, so here, as you can see, these koftas are ready, and traditionally we cover them with bread just so that they can stay nice and warm. So the hummus is ready with a nice warm bread. The tabbouleh is not ready because it's missing the olive oil, so we're going to put that on first. And just a little drizzle. You don't want to overflow olive oil onto the tabbouleh. Just kind of drizzle it over it. That's perfect. Okay. And the koftas are ready. Well, thank you for watching all of this, and now you got an idea of how I solve my problems when people don't know what they want to eat. I get incentives, and this is what happens.